Yeah, like my grandfather, dia punya parents were actually siblings. I was like, what? Because the whole topic mula-mula was just about Bobolianism and Gimbaran, ba. Like we were talking about that, and then she was like, oh yeah, like apa ni kami punya moying gini, and then apa ni? Yeah, and then she's like passing comments. Oh yeah, his parents were siblings. What? Huh?
Yeah. Okay, welcome to our next episode of Perspektif Podcast, where we discuss perspective and deep thought. With me today is Steve.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so saya tidak ada introduction gitu. You just carry on dengan kita punya topik lah. So I've listened to your podcast with Chris and also Egan. So with Chris you talk about you being unduk ngadau lah.
Mm-hmm.
So unduk ngadau, ya sekarang zaman pula. Musim unduk ngadau.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but bila saya dengar kau punya interview dengan si Egan, kamu cakap pasal more deeper punya topik lah, deeper punya topik, which is your belief system, and it was quite interesting for me to hear a girl talk about that kind of topic lah, because kita tahu juga kan yang trend perempuan bercakap the meme you know kan, when girls are gossiping and meanwhile guys are asking what is the meaning of life, macam tu ba?
Oh my gosh.
Between girls and guys. Okay. So bila saya dengar, and we talk before also in Coffee Bean kan, yang you have this unique style of, bukan style, apa
unique way
of
believing in
thinking
things.
about spiritualism lah.
Okay.
So apa yang start kau berubah in term of your belief system?
I wouldn't really say berubah. I think it's more on how my sort of belief system kind of developed over time.
Over time, like how long?
Throughout my whole life actually. Sebab like I grew up in Kota Marudu. Then campur-campur lah, but I'm mostly English. Okay bahkan.
Yeah, okay.
I grew up in Kota Marudu, and then I was very devout. Like my family Catholic, so very devout. I tell you, sejenis kalau dulu when I was younger, jenis yang if I don't go to church, then it's like sin. I have to go confession, then I can menyambut, the Holy Communion. So throughout those years when I was quite religious, or very sort of, I felt really connected to God, or with the church, all of that. I also read a lot in order to understand God, in order to understand my religion. But then I also have this thing about me where I like to question things. So I questioned a lot of things. And, one thing leads to another. Over time, I just sort of, these questions made me unlearn some things because they contradict. And if I terlampau mau ikut what I learned, like yang before this in church ka, or if I terlampau ikut that, but I also want to trust in science, like what we've learned, what humanity has discovered over the years, kan, and then it clashes. It contradicts. It would make me confused. So I had to learn to either unlearn, right, or choose one. Begitu. But I didn't want to just choose one. I feel like I want to still believe in God. I still want to like go to church, but also at the same time keep learning, like leaning to science begitu. But then as the time goes by, it became like slowly unlearn, and then more towards what we as a what humanity has learned and discovered over time, and that makes sense begitu.
Yeah, but untuk pastikan lah, we are not talking about this to sound against any belief system or any ideology lah. It just, for me, it is important to have a critical thinking, to questions, to be more rational, and not just to follow any belief system just because your father and mother have the same religion kan. So we are trying to untuk menggalakkan critical thinking lah, to question your belief and to learn how to think, not what to think.
Yes.
And
that's right.
Belief or religion is one aspect of life that requires us to do that. For me, saya pernah melalui fasa di mana I'm afraid to lose my identity. Kan? Identity as a devoted Christian or someone who goes to church every week kan. So once you question what is the purpose of doing all this, adakah dia memberikan benefit in terms of my spiritual life? But at the same time, if I really question this and then suddenly I change my mind and I would lose my identity, my family will abandon me because I'm no longer with them, and all those sort of fear lah. Kau ada lalui the same thing or just
in terms of identity, that's
it's a lack of better.
It's a complex, like identity for me is a very complex topic because I am also an actress. I used to act, and that involves taking on identities that are not mine. But then like over time, I feel like our identity shouldn't just like kalau kau memang dari dulu begitulah kau. Not necessarily. Yeah. We change over time.
True.
So dia bukan yang macam yalah, like I said, kena begitu saja. So yeah, but that's another thing maybe like next time can talk about, I guess. But for going back to what my family would think, my mom she's right now very like she's always been very devout. I'm Catholic. But I feel like my family dorang jenis yang like we're not going to paksa you to believe in what we think you should believe in. At the end of the day, this is what my mom has taught me when we were growing up. Whatever decision you take, whatever decision you make, right? The repercussions or the effects of that, you will have to live with it. And so think about that first before you make any decisions, before you start to believe in something, before you start to think about something, and then like with conviction, believe in it before even understanding it. Kau terus percaya. Begitu. My mom has taught us that growing up. And I feel like that's her way of teaching us how to, have critical thinking. So
your mom is someone who is educated,
well, I think she is educated, but she never went to university. However, dia baca. She's a reader, much like myself. Yeah.
So do you have any sort of fear of being different?
No. Because kalau for me lah, I feel like I don't mind being different because everyone is different. It's whether or not, you being different, is that going to hurt people around you? Like, yeah, you can be different, but is that going to, one, not only hurt like physically, but also like emotionally? Are you going to hurt them, begitu? So I think about that. I consider the people around me lah, begitu. Like, yeah, I want to be different. That makes me who I am, right? That, you know, in trying to find what makes me me.
Yeah, but I'm talking about different in terms of different from you out of the community.
Being
Lifestyle.
agnostic.
Yeah.
No.
So semua orang ada religion, then you are the one yang orang consider non-religious.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother you at all?
I don't think so. Maybe because my dad is a little bit, I mean, he believes in God, yes. He's Catholic as well. But he is very macam free-spirited. Kan kalau in church, kalau Catholic kan, tidak boleh pakai tattoo, like ada tattoo. I don't have tattoos myself, but my dad has tattoo. A lot of tattoo. But, you know, to like hardcore Catholics or Christians, don't be like, oh, you know, that's sin, you know. But my dad is like very free-spirited.
So, our reason of having religion mostly is for our spiritual life lah kan. To have peace, maybe peace with your life.
Yeah, I guess.
Ada zen kah? Kadang-kadang kalau orang pergi church kan mau itu sense of macam agak kompleks lah untuk di-explain.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like definitely religion can give you peace. Definitely. However, I feel like in my experience, like religion itself can also not give you peace. Because of all of the constraints. Banyak yang, this one you cannot do, that one you cannot do, you know. But what if it doesn't hurt other people, you know? Like, as simple as having a tattoo, right? I'm not hurting you. I'm not hurting other people. You know, I'm not... The only thing I probably be hurting is your feelings, you know. But that's because you already have this certain perspective, right? But I'm not hurting anyone physically. And this makes me happy. I want to have tattoo. You know, this is what I want to do, right?
How do you define being spiritual?
Okay, I like to say this. I don't know how to really answer that, but I like to say this. Let's say lah, when I go audition, kan? Then I don't get the part, but I really wanted it, right? I always say this: the universe does not like the universe has a different plan. You know, like not plan, but like there are other doors, and maybe this one is not for me. The universe has something else for me instead. So how do I explain that? That sounds spiritual
it's
also.
It's a kind of belief lah. It's more on belief lah, but doesn't touch any aspect of feelings. Because for me, religion is actually a tool for us to achieve certain state of mind. Kan? Being spiritual is a state of mind where everything is okay. Berserah ataupun berdoa, and then you have that feeling of being protected. Ada lagi faith, kan? All those words lah yang related to religion, and psychologically it gives us this sense of calm. And when you say the word spiritual, you imagine someone who is calm, tenang, tidak stress. So for me, being spiritual is more on the state of mind lah.
Okay. Kalau for me, it's more, I think logically. I don't know if it's spiritual, but I think logically. If something doesn't go well, or if I have worries, if I can do something about it now, I will. But if I cannot do something about it now, I don't worry about it so much. I put it behind me. And then maybe if I can, if the problem persists, right? But I cannot do it now. If I cannot solve it now, I can revisit it another day. It's like, it's okay to fail today. You can always try tomorrow. Begitu ba?
Pure logic lah.
Yeah, that's how I talk to myself basically. For example, I was driving the other day back because I kerja in Telupit right now. I'm a teacher.
Oh yeah. Can you tell me who you are and what you do? Tell the audience, not me.
Yeah.
Tell the audience who you are and what you do.
Intro, about half an hour in. You've already introduced my name lah. I go by Alex. Right now I teach full time. I am a middle school teacher. Yeah, I teach full time. I teach English and science.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I've only started teaching lah. But yeah, I am a teacher.
What is your education background?
I went to university. I have a degree in TESOL, teaching English as a second language. So yeah. Anyway, back to my story.
Right.
I was driving because right now I kena station I bertugas di Telupit. Yeah. So Telupit to Kota Marudu is like around 4 hours begitu. And then Telupit to KK is around 5 hours begitu where I live lah in KK. And then I was driving back. Then something happened with the car, right? It wouldn't pick up speed ba. Not only that, it was losing speed. So macam jalan landai dia paling laju lah to 40. Sampai lantai I tekan the gas pedal kan, it wouldn't go up over 40. Kalau naik bukit, it goes all the way to 0.
Wow.
And then kalau saya tidak bawa pergi logia, dia mau ghostan lagi, even though I already tekan sampai habis. So I was like, of course I felt panicky, stressed and all of that. But at the time, I thought to myself, okay, first thing, what do I need to do? I call my dad, right? My dad's a mechanic. I call my dad, and then my dad's like, okay, the car can jalan ka, whatever. We worked it out. And then, memang bikin takut, but I just told myself, okay, what can be done now? Okay, the fact of the matter is we need to bring this car somewhere it can be fixed. And that's my dad, right? Because he knows the car. And I trust him. So I changed course, balik pergi Kota Marudu. And I ikut jalan bongkut deh. So dia banyak naik bah. Banyak naik. So throughout the whole time kan, I wasn't really praying per se, but I remember thinking, okay, yang penting this car can drive. Yeah, yang penting this car is driving. Kalau dia berhenti, then I just call my dad, and then we will cross that bridge when we reach it. Begitu, maybe call a tow truck or something, or my dad will come, or whatever it is. But I am very much logical, very much yang macam I try to think rationally. Begitu. In a lot of why I'm telling you this is because if other people were in that situation, I can imagine they would be thinking like, oh God, help me, like they would be praying.
True.
But I wasn't. I mean, not to say that I don't believe in, like prayers and all of that. But I felt like, having that rational thought and knowing what you need to do is already prayer itself. If I can get through this, if I can get from A to B, right? That's already prayer because you want to get to that point ba begitu. And then for me I don't know. Like that's finding solution. You need to find solution along the way. Once you've got your solution already, you can get from point A to point B. Begitu. That's already like for some reason. I don't know. Memang it's not spiritual. Maybe, but to me, it's already like
logical.
A prayer to the universe. Universe, help me. I already have the solution. Just help me.
Your statement yang saying the problem, think what should I do next without feeling any other feelings. Just focus on the solution step by step.
I'm that
right?
type of person, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think ramai orang kayak macam ni? Especially girls. Especially girls lagi. Because of my own experience, let me tell you.
Okay.
Only last week lah. Last week there was a saya mau kasih blur lah ni karakter supaya orang tidak kedapatan siapa saya mengungkapkan.
Okay.
Ada nih satu konflik between A and B in our family. Ya, sudah kedapatan sudah. Okay, konflik between A and B. Tidak apalah, biarlah.
Okay.
And then semua message yang dalam grup kan, diorang punya message adalah, jahatnya dia, kenapa dia buat begitu, ataupun, nanti kita kasih tambah dia marah begitu, kita buat macam ni. Lepas tu, kesian dia kena buat macam tu kan, lain kali kita buat begini-begini lah, dia bilang tu. Dan saya pergi masuk lah. Hey, kenapa kamu cakap begini saja? Kenapa kamu tidak fikirkan solution? Kenapa tidak orang yang satu batch dengan dia pergi datang dan fix the problem, pergi nasihat dia, no? And then dorang tukar topik. Ini gambar lama, mari kita bincang. Ini gambar lama. So ada 2 kali instance dia macam tu, yang bila saya masuk dengan solution kan, terus jadi dry conversation. Jadi
That's very
I notice yang most people diorang akan communicate bila ada emotion saja, benda yang emotional saja.
I was just thinking about
they
that.
like to ride the emotion, ups and down of emotion, especially the negative ones. So when it comes to solution kan, janganlah kasih settle terus. Jadi tidaklah cerita macam tu bah. It seems kan.
Yeah.
So terus yang saya message terakhir saya adalah SMH.
I feel like is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that is to some extent trauma, because maybe we are so used to that environment. Growing, like maybe when we were younger or like the environment we're in we're so used to like emotionally charged environments, and then we tend to react the same way as well, because that is what we are most comfortable with. We are not comfortable. We are familiar. We're familiar with it, so we end up doing the same thing that gives us trauma. Actually, it's negative, but that's what we are familiar with. That is what we know. So we keep doing the same thing. I feel like, because like you said, like if you talk about the solution, there's nothing else to talk about.
No more drama.
Yeah,
we
no
need
more
drama. Drama makes the world go round.
Drama is it's fun sometimes.
Itu. And sometimes I feel lonely lah. I wonder what do you feel among your group lah. Saya tidak tahu kalau you have experienced this kind of situation where you feel like you are the only one who have different way of thinking, and you feel like other people look at you macam orang yang dia ni janganlah cakap sama dia, asyik-asyik gini saja, dia yang paling pandai, dia yang paling banyak solution, dia lah yang dia yang leader, dia yang trip paling mentang-mentang lah dia ada master macam tu bah. So do you have this kind of experience, especially just saya tidak mau ulang lagi girls.
Ban kau lah. I remember pernah kena begitu when I was a bit younger lah. University, I suppose. Not younger, like a few years ago when I was in the college. Not university, I went to college. There were instances where I would, to me it was like giving suggestions, right? How do we move forward from here? What we can do, these are my suggestions. And then in my, like, within earshot, this girl, I know, I'm sorry,
Okay.
but this girl, like from maybe like 2 or 3 desks away, said, "Ih, macam dia yang mau jadi ketua." And it stayed with me up until now. So every time when I am in that situation where I can like suggest something or suggest solutions begitu kan, I diam dulu. I don't say it first. If people ask me, "Oh, Alex, what do you think?" Then I say. Begitu. Because yes, I do saya pernah kena begitu. Yeah.
Okay. Back on our topic, main topic, being agnostic.
Oh yeah.
So for right now, kau punya level of understanding tentang what makes someone spiritual or what makes someone feel fulfilled in terms of understanding this reality lah. Do you have that kind of questions yang the meaning of all this? What is my purpose? Do you have those phase? You've gone through that phase also kan? So yang saya mau tahu adalah which, I wouldn't say level lah, which pathway are you in now in terms of understanding life?
I tend to believe evolution.
Yes.
I tend to
Evolution
believe.
jangan cakap.
Okay, yeah.
Saya perlu 2 hari saya mesti explain saya. Okay, saya mau tengok your understanding on evolution. I will see apa yang saya boleh share lah.
This is one of the thing yang also what made me an agnostic is when I found out quite early on, actually when I was a kid, masih di sekolah, is the fact that Earth is a closed system. And then that made me think, if it's a closed system, semua kena recycle. And then over time it just develops to, reading a lot about like evolution and all of that, it just made me think, if we believe evolution, we're not that different from animals. We are born, we live, and then we die, and then badan kita terurai, then we kena recycle back into the system, right? And then I always like to believe, like maybe this what the materials used to make this car probably used to be my great ancestors.
Okay.
Things like that, because Earth is a closed system. We get recycled, and I believe in that. And I can see why a lot of people macam they have a problem with that, because then kalau begitu life has no meaning. Begitu. But I always ask, why does it have to have a meaning? Like why does it have to macam like have like a really big grandiose meaning? Why can't we make our own meaning? We're alive now. Make your life meaningful the way you want to make it meaningful, right? But of course it has to start with values. That's why up until now I still believe the church, I still having a religion is good as a guideline to be decent human beings, to have good values. So you don't go around like, the world is meaningless, or like you go around hurting people.
Yeah.
You know?
How deep do you understand about evolution?
Wow.
And how do you apply that in understanding like things like human behavior, social problems? Kan? Kalau saya boleh, saya share my own understanding on evolution and how it affect me lah, my understanding. Let's say, basically evolution is, in summary dia adalah the survival of the fittest, death of the weakest, kan? So, let's say, kenapa kita ada kening? every characteristic of physical characteristic kita is because of
Evolution.
Survival. So these nails allow us to survive. This kening allow us to survive. Dan sampai sekarang kita tidak faham apa fungsi kening.
Wow.
So, apa fungsi rambut? If I ask you, what is the function of in terms of survival? Kan apa fungsi rambut?
It regulates. I think fungsi rambut. It regulates our something to do with temperature, I think.
Okay.
So
the way
I don't know.
The way I would answer is orang yang tidak rambut tidak survive.
Because they're unattractive.
No.
Is that?
Bukan.
Why?
Not necessarily. We don't know.
Okay.
But the model of answering that will help us understand the life, biological life in general adalah all those characteristic that you are asking. Kenapa ini ada, lahir ada kening sudah, tapi kita tidak tahu apa fungsi. First you have to answer, sebab orang yang pernah ada makhluk yang tidak kening, and then it didn't survive. Didn't survive. So means maybe kalau kita pikir 2-3 ribu tahun yang lalu, when our ancestor is surviving dengan binatang-binatang buas kan, so dia orang memburu kijang and then berbelu lah.
Yeah.
So ada orang yang ada kening, ada orang yang tidak kening. Contoh, okay, so kalau orang tidak kening memburu, bila berbelu, itu perlu pergi mata.
Yep.
So dia kelip-kelip, tiba-tiba ada harimau makan. So kurang sudah yang tidak kening. Yang ada kening tidak kena, so dia orang boleh ada harimau terus sembunyi. So slowly itu orang yang tidak kening berkurang. Yang survive adalah yang ada kening. And then bila modern, kita tidak perlu melindungi diri daripada harimau sudah, tapi masih ada the karakteristik.
It stays though.
Yeah, it stays. And then same goes with our consciousness, our intelligence. So only the intelligent yang survive. So untuk yang kita, it's hard to explain actually. Sebab kau perlu mula dengan a rough punya konsep, then you go in details bah. Tapi yang saya mau cakap di sini, macam mana saya gunakan itu theory of evolution untuk pujuk diri saya yang memang dia begini. Memang manusia ada nature, instinct, sisa-sisa daripada yang dulu. Sebab kita tidak ada instinct, let's say ego. Ego is a part of evolution. Because without ego, we would not have the will to live. Sebab ego adalah rasa penting diri sendiri. Kalau tidak ego, makanlah saya makan. So it develops. So ego menjadi sesuatu yang sipi-sipi sudah dalam kita punya. Cuma dia bertindak dalam social interaction sudah. So when you argue, you want to win argument. Tapi it's actually dia punya origin adalah the will to survive. So bila orang bercakap dengan saya dan dia ada ego, okay, you have ego, I have my own ego. I'm aware. Maybe you're not aware of your ego. So that, dan banyak aspek lagi lah. So do you have that kind of realization?
Yes. But it didn't come to me yang macam
slowly lah.
Bukan. I read this book by Yuval Noah Harari.
Wow. Yuval Noah Harari.
Yeah, have you heard of him?
No.
He's a really good author. The first book I read of him was Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind.
Okay.
You know this book?
Saya dengar dia punya titles.
You read that book. It's a really good book. He talked about consciousness in his book. How we needed fear in order to survive. Kalau dulu during the hunt, when we were still hunter-gatherers, right? We needed fear in order to survive, right? So we evolved to have that feeling, the feeling of fear. But over time, right? There are side effects. There are side effects. From fear came anxiety, right? So anxiety is something, it's kind of like, he used the example of an engine, like an airplane engine. For the airplane to work, it has to have an engine, right? But the engine is making this sound that we don't necessarily need. We don't necessarily want. So that is anxiety. Begitu. We want fear. We need fear in order to survive. But anxiety comes with it. That's not necessarily something that we need. Begitu. So there are side effects.
Kau memang faham sudah lah. Yes. Go on.
So reading that chapter kan, I was like, oh, interesting. So that goes with a lot of our mental problems as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and mental problems, I feel like, is something that is very rarely talked about, especially in our community here. Macam di Sabah sini.
Betul.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, one of the topics yang I always try to bring up lah. Sebab kita punya community yang macam hampir tabu ba ni isu mental. Padahal kan yang ini you know lah. Dan bila kita cakap tentang emotion pun, dia akan being vulnerable kan, is a very big no-no for us. Dia macam kau biarkan diri kau untuk dihina dan digosip kalau kau luahkan perasaan kau, macam tu lah.
I feel like it's especially bad for men. No, not bad. Macam men has it worse, I feel like. Because if you I mean, in order for you to open up and talk about it, you have to be vulnerable, right? And so, for men, if you are vulnerable, that means, oh, you are not men. You know? So there's that stigma lah, actually. So, I feel like, kalau for us women, even though there is a little bit of that stigma as well, but at least we can talk about it. We can even though we don't even realize. Tapi we are already, because, okay, let's say for example, mengumpat, pun sudah meluah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But for men, if you mengumpat, kau kena panggil macam you whining lah, you complaining lah, begitu. That's very not man. You know?
True. Dan yang senangnya, perempuan kan, kalau menangis, dorang tidak malu.
Yeah, I cry a lot.
Saya pernah, saya sangat down, sangat terluka lah orang bilang kan. Dan saya rasa macam menangis saja cara untuk mau kasih lepas betul feeling. I struggle to cry. Macam mana mau nangis ni? Saya rasa kalau keluar air mata saya hilang sudah nih feeling waktu. Tapi macam mana? Okay, saya tengok YouTube kan. YouTube yang bapak surung anak yang okay itu untuk join the apa sudah tuh Iron Man kan, itu yang sangat mengharukan bagi saya kan. Okay, nangis okay, nangis sikit kan. Tapi lain lah ini air mata ini nangis terharu lah. Kau cari lagi yang bikin menangis yang sejajar, yang sesuai dengan your situation that time. So it's a very very bikin sesak nafas punya feeling lah. So I believe a lot of men, especially Sabahan men yang having that kind of problem where they don't know how to release their frustration because actually by crying is a
form of release for the body.
It's a very very useful tool for us to release our emotion. But saya boleh cakap more than half men tidak pandai menangis. Walaupun dorang, I wish I could cry.
Wow.
Saya pernah macam tu. I wish I could cry.
Oh wow.
I wish I could cry. Because by crying, that's the only channel yang I could think of yang can ease the feeling lah.
Yeah.
Dan saya rasa begitu juga. When some boys or some men try to initiate deep talk among us kan, I understand them. You are having this problem. You are trying to initiate ini sesi luahan perasaan without being judged. So kalau ada orang yang kau kenal yang boleh dengar, tiada judgement, dan kau tidak malu untuk untuk luahkan perasaan macam perempuan, kau sangat hargai dia. Oke, mari kita pergi rumah dia. Sebab bila kita meluah macam perempuan, dia tidak judge kita. Ini adalah
macam perempuan.
Ya, inilah masalah lelaki,
Oh
kan?
my goodness me.
So inilah, I don't know if you realize that about men.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that you guys struggle to cry.
Yeah, at least for my own experience.
For you,
lah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I didn't know that, but to be honest, now that I think about it, I have the only times I ever about my dad. The only times he has ever cried was when he missed his dad. Yeah, so because his dad already passed away. But I mean, that is a very strong emotion. But when we talk about other things, for me, it's very what makes me anything. If I'm frustrated, no, honestly, if I am frustrated, I am angry, pun I cry. You know.
So do you find crying memang your way of kasih hilang tu perasaan?
It's definitely a form of release.
Yeah.
Because I would have a very strong emotion, very to the point where it feels like it's consuming my thoughts, everything in my head. So, after crying, I feel like it comes out with the tears. And then I would be able to sit down and think with clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why when I feel like crying, I just let it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because I cry a lot and I allow myself to cry, I just let it out kan. If people see kan, they're like, "Oh, why are you crying?" It's always something very big.
Yeah.
You know, yang life changing or something yang not life changing lah, but very big lah begitu.
Yeah.
Something happened to me kan. No, I'm just really frustrated.
Yeah. True.
Makes me wanna cry.
Yeah, sebab kalau kita tengok crying as a tool kan, it becomes our advantage. Kan?
Yes.
Tapi a lot of people see crying as bukan simbol, tanda yang kau lemah.
Yeah.
Which is a misconception lah kalau saya. So if you are able to cry, good for you, man. Good for you. You're struggling.
Kasih keluar.
Kasih keluar.
Keluar bro, you know.
Tapi kebanyakan orang ingat yang, dia kuat menangis tuh dia. Weak human.
But yeah, I do get it. Sometimes, macam my male friends kan, I've never seen them cry, and then from what I heard, the sentiments around it is macam begitulah, macam if you cry you're weak, begitu. But then, okay, fine. If you don't want to cry, right? But I suggest you do, just to just allow yourself to feel, right? But if you really don't want to, you have to find a healthy way to let all of that out. You cannot keep it inside. That's how mental problem starts, man.
Yeah. Dan kita tidak boleh lari juga dengan kita punya psikologi lah. Let's say perempuan nampak lelaki menangis. Dia punya level of attractiveness definitely will go down, kan?
My goodness, kau tahu, saya pernah ada nih conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You finish first.
So, kau rasa itu betul kah tidak? When you see a guy cry, daripada macho-macho tiba-tiba aku nampak dia cry. Honest opinion, dia punya daripada 10 pergi 8 kah ataupun pergi 6 kah?
Kalau for me, it has nothing to do with attraction. Immediately, I think maybe it's maternal instinct, I don't know. But immediately I would want to find a solution. What is making you cry? Yang begitu, that is my first instinct. Which I know it contradicts with what I said earlier, which is if you feel something, just let it out, right? It doesn't have to be a big problem that makes you cry, right? But yeah, my first instinct would be, my God, especially if it's a guy. And because I so rarely see a guy cry. If I see a guy cry, to me, ada problem. Begitu. But
kau tidak akan judge dia sebagai tidak boleh buat laki nih.
Why would I want to? I don't.
Sebab kalau macam
I would not think that because I don't think it's related.
Coba kalau pembiakan, kalau kau punya pasangan weak, memang kau tidak mau membiak dengan dia. Sebab kau tidak mau ada baka yang weak macam dia.
No, I don't think so.
Tidak.
I think kalau for me lah, I think those things are unrelated. Kenapa lah kau? What does that have to do with your ability to have kids, to have strong kids?
Kau rational sudah.
Oh, okay.
Tapi instinctively,
no,
I
okay.
bet for someone like kalau kita lelaki menengok pasangan kan, there are some subconscious or instinct lah, biological instinct for us to select
yes,
partner kan?
Yes.
With the body shape, dia punya
kalau
appearance,
bigger hips, dia maybe boleh banyak anak.
Without our being aware about that. Tapi kita punya insting memang begitu.
Bigger chest, banyak susu boleh kasih kasih susu anak. Anak tidak lapar.
Kalau kulit
which
halus,
totally understandable.
Means dia sihat dan mampu untuk kasih beranak, mau kasih piara anak. Macam tu. Tapi kalau kasih terbalik dengan lelaki pula quality tinggi. Tinggi akan lebih tinggi possibility untuk dapat membiak. That's why Europe survival rate untuk orang-orang tinggi lebih tinggi. Dan bila dia orang survive, they are able to reproduce more. Jadi orang pendek-pendek macam kami kalau hidup di Europe, pendek saja hayat tu species. Mungkin 2-3 generation and then dia die off. Because of the environment or because of itu attraction punya factor lah. So dia akan ada qualities yang tanpa kita sadar akan affect kita punya attract.
I get what you're saying because obviously I am not exempt from that. Kalau I am more attracted to guys who are taller than me. Of course that's a bit. Kalau di sini saja susah lah. Because I'm already almost 1'7". So, but immediately.
Okay. Iklan sekejap.
Yeah.
Kalau rendah daripada kau, apa kualiti yang boleh jamin tu ketinggian dia?
Meaning to say to make up, to compensate.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Well, rationality. Critical thinking. Honestly, yang macam I don't have. These are supposed to be basic, but I don't have to tell him to do something yang common sense, right? I don't have to tell him. He does it. He can think about it. Let's say, for example, something as simple as my bag terjatuh kan, and then maybe I didn't see ka begitu kan, and then he just like berdiri jalan saja. He
Ataupun
sees
berjalan
it.
di tepi jalan, kau di bahagian yang kena langgar, dia di tepi.
That is more like protectiveness lah. Yeah, I mean, but I don't really look at that. But yang macam, how to say common sense lah. Susah juga. But yeah, common sense. Yang
ada harapan lah anak buah
or and apa ni? Like general concern for the people around you lah. Kan? Like you think about people, the people around you begitu. But if you don't think about other people around you, let's say, saya satu hari sudah saya kerja, dua-dua kami kerja, right? Let's say, and then dua-dua kami kerja, but then balik rumah, he still expects me to like masak, to clean and all of that, and then dia like duduk, don't do anything. The thing is, I'm also tired. I understand you're tired. I am also tired, right? Like, okay, we're both tired. I don't want to do the dishes today, maybe tomorrow, right? Ataupun if you feel like you still have the energy, you go and do it lah, begitu. Because I have seen yang even though dia tidak begitu penat pun, the wife satu hari dengan jaga anak, and I tell you,
Pasal
anak
dia suami, dia
begitu.
isteri.
Yeah, like sudah sediakan makanan or something like that, right? It's like, oh, that's traditional, like relationship or marriage begitu. That's a traditional apalah. But times have changed, right? And we should also shift our sort of mental state or our mentality to fit now punya time. Because we're both working already now. Not only that, we're, kalau ada anak lagi, my goodness, saya juga yang mengatur anak. Saya juga yang mengatur kain piring semua hotdog.
Tapi kau bini, bah, saya suami.
Gitu.
Gitu kan.
Ini tanggung jawab bini, bah.
Yeah.
Okay, begitu.
Saya sumpah kau jadi bini durhaka aja.
Saya berhentilah kerja. saya di rumah saja. Tapi kalau bagi saya 3,000 satu bulan.
Yeah. True. So being more rational, common sense, that would compensate the height lah. Berapa cm?
What's going on?
Honestly though, I have never dated anyone shorter than me.
Okay.
Paling short pun yang same height. Because all of the guys that I have been with, semua taller than me. Ataupun same height.
Okay, sorry lah. Sorry lah anak buah saya.
Nekro. Kau punya anak bawah berapa umur?
27, 28.
Oh, my age. I'm 28.
Okay. Yeah. So, tapi itulah saya tanya pasal ketinggian tu sebab dia lagi rendah dari saya. So, tapi dia punya common sense sangat tinggi.
Jahat tau kalau kau.
Rational dia. Nama dia Leo.
Oh, okay. Hi Leo.
Okay. So, how kau punya belief system shape your life? Macam mana kau communicate dengan orang, bersosial?
I think I am more towards psychology. Macam, okay, this person is like this, and then I try to psychoanalyze them in what I know lah. Oh, maybe this person is like this because of this. Okay, so this is how I should interact with them. Begitu. Right? Kalau macam high energy, okay, high energy, I match their energy. If dia macam low energy, they're introverted, begitu, then
Yang sangat kau analisis betul lah.
Because I care more about wanting to get along with people. I do not like animosity. I don't like the feeling yang macam, oh, this person doesn't like me, begitu. I don't like that feeling because I feel like it's very negative. And it talks about macam I'm very self-conscious about it. And so it distracts me from like actually having a meaningful relationship with that person or friendship with that person, right? Oh, this person doesn't like me, and maybe begini, and then it actually affect how I interact with them. Oh, this person dia tidak suka saya, so saya pun peduli dia lah, or something like that, like I in turn become negative. Begitu. So yeah, in terms of like belief system, I believe psychology. Every one of us have been through trauma one way or another in life. And we really need to understand, not understand fully, but like at least if you can see this, apa ni macam how a person is, right? I try to match dorang punya energy, begitu.
Try to match.
Yeah.
Di shapeshifter lah.
Yeah, like a chameleon kan?
Chameleon.
Yeah.
When we say belief system, religion kan? Religion, satu aspek yang ada pada religion adalah supernatural. So, agnostic, how macam berapa tahap supernatural yang kau percaya? I mean, macam mana mau tanya? Sebab religion kan kita ada doa, lepas tu kena jawab tanpa kita tahu rational mechanism dia kan. Tapi when we have this agnostic punya belief lah, ataupun being atheist lah, so how do you explain all those supernatural phenomenon?
Remember when I talked about the book earlier, Sapiens? I feel like macam kau boleh nampak I'm not discrediting the people who memang can see, the people who believe in ghosts. I'm not discrediting them, but for me personally, I believe I cannot see these things. Kalaupun dorang exist, right? And even if I do believe in them, macam these ghosts, I still think I won't be able to see them. But for me, when it comes to me, I think kalau macam saya fikir tentang hantu, it is another side effect. It is another contoh side effect of fear. Because the room is gelap. It's a very dark room. Something could be lurking somewhere in the corner. Begitu. And then you imagine these things. And then because of your fear, it's very strong sampai it consumes your thoughts. You start to believe there's actually something there. Wait, I can see something. And you convince yourself something is there. And you think, ito, memang hantu lah tu. Begitu. It's all just, the mechanics of our brain.
Sepunya theory adalah contoh yang kecil lah. Takut hantu dan image hantu adalah berkaitan dengan orang mati. So it is basically the fear of
death,
infection.
Oh, infection.
Bila kita sentuh orang mati ada infection.
Okay.
Jadi it develops into a type of fear lah. So itu contoh dia lah. So image untuk hantu adalah mesti yang buruk muka, bangkai, tengkorak, yang satu. So itu adalah cara nature kita punya insting untuk menjauhi mayat supaya kita tidak dapat infection. Sebab orang yang tidak takut mayat mati. So ada satu yang saya lupa untuk mention pasal evolution berkenaan psikologi lah. Let's take gayat as an example. Kenapa kebanyakan orang ada gayat? Kan? Kita tidak pernah pun lahir-lahir kita bukan berada di tempat tinggi pun. Because again, formula to answer is because those who don't have gayat dies off. Dia orang mati awal. Dia orang sebab kenapa?
Falling from height.
Dia orang just jalan-jalan jatuh. Orang yang takut, dia orang tidak mau panjat.
They wouldn't even come close to the edge.
Dia orang sempat berumur, tambah anak, berkahwin. Orang yang tidak gayat, muda-muda lagi panjat-panjat pokok sudah mati semua macam tu. So you can imagine all those offspring orang yang survive itu semua ada gayat sebab diturunkan oleh bapa mama dia. So that is one aspect of our psychology, gayat. And then takut apa lagi? Different type of fears can be put into that model. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So it's a part of evolution lah.
So I mean, going back to sort of really answer your question, I personally don't really believe in ghosts. Because the first thing I would think about if macam ada something macam creepy, scary, I'm not going to say I don't get scared. I get scared very easily also, in fact. But I would first try to explain dulu logical, rational, right?
Rational.
And then at the end of the day, there's always an explanation for something. And then
Do you think
don't
that
get
helps
scared.
with handling semua benda fear ataupun fear of the unknown? For me, dia agak liberating lah bila we are able to rationalize benda-benda yang kita rasa pelik. Berbanding orang yang mesti hantu tu ataupun mesti jin, mesti apa lagi benda-benda makhluk halus kan. So bila aku percaya benda tu, kau akan limited kau punya activity kan. Tapi bila aku tiada ada tu fear yang useless fear macam tu, kau punya akses kepada activity lebih banyak. So it will lead to success rate lagi tinggi.
But then I mean, following your formula, right? Same thing. There is that fear of the unknown. Because we're not kalau macam dulu, we are not we don't, let's say macam hunter-gatherer punya time, right? This path dorang memang tahu is safe, right? This path dorang tidak tahu safe or not, right? And so they develop macam satu orang dia macam separated from the group, dia pergi di sana and then he never came back, right? So then they're like, maybe something is there. And so same formula, fear of the unknown, they're not sure, but that one person didn't come back, right?
Those who have the fear after witnessing
it's brought
that,
forward.
Yeah. Kalau yang tiada fear, dorang ikut jejak dia dan mati.
Following that same formula.
Survive, nanti yang ada fear survive.
Following that same formula, that's why we have the fear of the unknown.
Dan kesimpulan lain yang kita boleh dapat dari sini adalah jangan malu bila kau ada gayat.
Oh, no.
Because itu gayat lah yang make us survive kan.
Ada orang pada malu kata.
Malu.
Is it something you're supposed to be ashamed of?
Especially in front of kalau dia ada crush dia.
Yeah. Saya kena hina Jo. Saya pencat-pencat. Saya boleh sampai sini saja saya. Penakut gitu lah.
Astaga.
Tapi sekarang saya sudah lah macam yang terima sudah. Ada untuk buat cerita untuk rehat daripada the topik kan. Ada sebab saya berada di stage yang saya you judge me, I judge myself more. Macam tu Pak. Kau hina diri saya punya kelemahan, saya lagi hina kelemahan saya. Contohnya kalau gayat lah. Gayat. Saya gayat nih hilang. Sampai saya ada satu menara telepon Pak. Itu tower MC itu tinggi, panjatlah. Saya memang rasa sudah gayat. Sampai satu tahap yang saya rasa sangat tinggi sudah kan. Datang lagi satu saya punya kawan. Dia ada kurang sikit gayat dia. Saya pucat sudah. Mari kita gambar kita punya muka. Tinggal saya pucat kau tidak. Coba saya gayat kan, begitu lah. So saya I'm willing to accept this kind of hinaan sudahlah kalau saya.
Goodness me. Dong kasih main-main siapa tuh bukan hina.
Mungkin. Tapi in reality memang benar-benar yang ada begitu dianggap weakness lah kalau
especially kalau lelaki kan.
Takut lipas kan.
Doi saya takut lipas saya tell you.
Aku takut lipas.
Oh man, like when they start flying, my soul leave my body. That's another thing.
Itu saya tidak faham that fear. I don't understand that. Saya takut because it's creepy crawlies. Come on, I don't want it on my body. Dorang banyak bakteria pun. Menyengat pun kan? No, it's not that. It's kalau saya dia kotor. Kotor.
And I don't know lah.
Terbang lagi 3 kali ganda lagi.
Itulah dia kasih spread all the bacteria.
Okay, back to our discussion tentang our belief system lah. Saya ada tulis beberapa nih.
Karena
jam sudah. Okay, 15 menit lagi, boleh?
Oh ya, okay.
Mungkin kau boleh wrap up lah dengan what do you wish other people to understand?
Okay. Because we talked about agnosticism. Yes. Because we talked about goodness me. We talked about that. I feel like more people should read more about evolution.
True. Saya sangat sokong tuh.
Bukan mau cakap, don't believe in apa.
It's just a theory. Theory is just.
It's like, no, honestly, keep your belief. Keep your belief, keep going to church, keep believing in God. To a certain extent, I want to believe in God because here's the thing, I cannot prove or disprove it. his existence. But I still go to church. I still do pray with intent, right? But read about evolution. Read about the things that we have discovered as, a humanity. Learn about the theory of evolution, how things, how evolution tries to explain why things are the way it is now. Begitu. And then,
This is exactly my message to everybody, like when it comes to understanding life, evolution. Saya sampai mau buat kursus evolusi. Kursus evolusi, Kak. Sebab
I would join.
Orang tengok ini konsep evolusi sebagai Darwin, anti-church. Begitu, Pak? Yang simple punya Pak. So every time we say evolution kan,
jadi kau pikir kau monyet lah nih.
Ya monyet. Itu monyet bukan pun dia punya kulit kepada the whole theory. Kalau kau betul-betul go deep into that theory, kita punya transformasi daripada monyet dan kepada manusia sebenarnya tidak benar, dan itu bukan dia punya main point, kan? The point di sana adalah bagaimana any species adapt to the environment, and how that process brings biodiversity, different characteristic, different appearance, even different psychology. It can go to biology, physical characteristic. Dia boleh pergi psychological characteristic. Itu semua berasal daripada konsep evolusi. Kalau kamu betul-betul baca, tapi jangan dengar evolusi jangan terus monyet pergi mana sih monyet. Kau punya keturunan adalah monyet. Itu bukan tuh. Bukan monyet, bukan pasal monyet itu evolusi. Evolusi adalah kau perlu baca banyak.
When I started reading about evolution, I was quite surprised to find out that apparently humans ada different species lagi once upon a time.
Neanderthal.
Neanderthal, Homo erectus, all of that, and then we are Homo sapiens.
Homo sapiens. And untuk pasal monyet kepada manusia. Manusia tidak datang daripada monyet, So monyet dan manusia datang daripada satu spesies yang sama. So monyet satu cabang, manusia satu cabang. Dia bukan monyet terus dia jadi macam transformer, jadi manusia, tidak. Itu adalah misconception yang sangat hebat. So evolution is a very good point. Evolution. Kalau tahu saja evolution, saya boleh cakap it can explain most of our questions. It can. And even like belief system, even the way we interact with people around us at the end of the day. Because the more you read about evolution, the more it'll touch on psychology juga tuh. Consciousness.
It will come to that point juga, and then you'd want. I mean, if you are interested, you would want to read more about psychology and why we think the way we think.
Yes.
Begitu.
Yes.
So
Dan dia membebaskan kita daripada kebodohan.
What he said.
Banyak lagi topik yang kita boleh bincang sebenarnya, tapi cukuplah untuk hari ini, kan? So thank you so much, Alex.
Oh, thank you for having me.
My first impression about you was
here goes.
Apa kita panggil kalau perempuan yang di bandar-bandar tuh? High maintenance punya lah. Second impression is a deep thinker, wise and well read.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, my impression about first when I first met you, my impression about you is more this guy really wants to connect to his roots. Because that was, you remember to connect to your roots.
Yeah.
Kan remember our the conversation we talked about more about traditions, all of that. But now I feel like you are a deep thinker, and I feel like I learn a lot talking to you. So I want to know more. You know.
Yeah. Okay, kelas evolusi.
Yeah. Yes. I would be the first to sign up.
Okay. Alright.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Pukul berapa sudah nih? Ya, 9:30. Oke lah, masih awal lagi.
Okay.
1 hour 10 minutes.
Ya, cukup tuh.
Okay. Panjang sudah tuh.
Ya. Tapi oke lah, kau punya level is quite advanced.
Oh iya kah?
Ya.
Look how unintentionally sexist he is.
Hah?